Toy Lewis.
Yeah, good to meet. Hey, first up, man, and I swear, about boy.
What's up, everybody? This is our time to tell you a little bit of what's on our heart, from you to you and you to you. What we're saying now, stop the bloodshed, save our youth. This message is going out to everyone, and jump in.
Okay. What I'd like to say to the adults that are listening to this podcast is that after 20 years of mentoring you, I can honestly tell you that there is not bad youth, there are youth that make bad decisions. Whenever a caring adult gets in a young people's life, their life will change. If you give them better choices, they will make better choices.
Yes, sir.
But sometimes they feel locked in to the choices of that block or that neighborhood or that community. And it's up to adults like the ones that are sitting next to me to keep shining a light that there is a better tomorrow and that there are better choices that you can be made. And so we need to not only support adults like the ones that are sitting here, but you need to support each other when dealing with youth. It's not a coincidence that an old African adage says it takes a village to raise a child.
Sure.
Because we know that children, if they won't listen to me, they may listen to Renee, or they may listen to Master Khalid, or they may listen to Nikki. But they will listen to somebody if we give them choices. So this is my message on this podcast. The more choices, good choices you give to you, the better chance they'll make it out of adolescence and make it into adulthood.
Yeah.
Amen, I agree.
So what is the first thing we need to do to stop, you feel like we need to do to stop, help stop the violence?
Stop being afraid of your own young people. These are not little demons running around here. They're young people that are making bad decisions. So the first thing you need to do is stop being afraid.
Okay.
To approach them, to talk to them, to build a relationship with them. Stop it. They welcome a caring adult in their life. And believe me, over the 20 years that I've mentored you, and I can guarantee you, if they know that you are genuine and that you really care about their well-being, they will open up to you and allow you to have a relationship with them.
Right, exactly. And what I wanted to add to what you were saying is, a lot of times we have to remember that we were 16 and 14 and 13 years old, and we've made decisions that we regret, especially the older that we got, 18 in our 20s. So sometimes learning by mistakes and things that we've been through, actually it helps build character within ourselves. And making bad decisions, we learn from those lessons. We learn from those things. It's all about how you redirect the situation, how you handle it, how you grow from it, and also able to advise other people on what, it's almost like getting the good advice with the bad advice. Sometimes the bad situation, you can turn it around into a positive redirection. So it's all about the choice that you make. Sometimes understanding the consequence. And I think right now we have a lot of our youth, they don't really understand the consequence of it. They may not care. And I think by just looking at the actions of what's going on in our streets today, it's like a survival mode, a savage mode. It's almost like it's inhumane, and I think that's what's getting us all, is because we all, even though we're different ages, but we're kind of similar in the same generation. This is not a normal thing. I mean, we all grew up around gang violence. I grew up around gang violence. You know, I've had cousins that were in gangs. You know, nothing's different. I'm no different than anybody else. I grew up around it, but it's almost very unpredictable because, you know, what we're seeing right now is it's very shocking because there's no rules. There was some type of code or street code, or, you know, you didn't shoot a child, or you don't shoot up a big grandma's house, and grandma. Now it seems like there's no rules and a lot of innocent people, and I think that's where people are getting upset and afraid and frustrated, and because it seems like you know, you're living in this war zone, and that you call your home where you pay your bills, that you have home ownership, and it looks like the streets. You don't want to say the streets are taking over. It just seems that it's basically something you're waking up to and going to bed, and it's something on the back of your mind. This isn't normal.
Do you feel that we failing our kids as parents, as African American parents? Do you feel like we didn't teach our kids enough? We done failed them?
I don't want to say that we necessarily failed them. I think we're trying to adapt to what's going on in society.
Right.
I think that we have parents that are trying to do the best that they can.
So do you feel our parents failed us?
I want to say no, but I think when drugs start getting involved and the system start getting involved, that and laws that did not work for us, especially when it came to the black male, I think that's where a lot of that started breaking up the home structure. Mm-hmm. And when you have single parent households and just trying to make ends meet, and then I also believe that the churches had something to do with that too, as far as closing the doors and not being open to what is out there. I think people find where their home is, where their safe is. Where is your safety ground? Where is your safety net? I think some of the parents now want to they say that they want to be their friends.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
I've seen that. There are parents, young parents, that are actually parenting that are not friends. So I think it was just working to what we have, and just dealing with and coping.
I don't feel like we failed them as parents. I feel like the city of Louisville failed them, and I'll explain why. When I was in charge of mentoring young people, the city had an organization called the Youth Development Organization, the City of Youth Development. They had their own budget, and all they did was concentrate on the youth of the city of Louisville. During this time period, the youth out in Newburgh was connected to the youth in Smoketown, connected to the youth in West Louisville, connected to the youth in South Louisville. What the city did is they pulled the funding from that organization, and they took it from like 50 million down to 5 million. They broke the chain of communication. So now all of these youth are isolated in their own community. Nobody's talking to anybody anymore, okay? And then all the funding that they used to have to sponsor positive activities and to sponsor organizations like Vision of Life here, it's gone now.
Yes, sir.
And the sad thing about it is they took that money from the youth and put it on Operation Brightside.
Yeah. Are you talking about like when I grew up, when I used to play at the boys club and we used to play Newburgh and J-Town teams and we used to travel back and
All
forth?
that.
They don't do it no more?
No,
Oh,
all
I
that
didn't know
gone.
that.
It's so, and because they destroyed the bridges
Okay.
that took years to build up, now these youth are feeling territorial.
Yeah.
How dare you, Smoketown, come out here in Newburgh?
Right.
When we all the same folks.
Right.
I got kin folks in Newburgh. I got kin folks all over the city in J-Town. But our youth they got the wrong message. But they got the message that the city gave them years ago when they disbanded something that was working. And they took all that money. When you take money from young people, there are no consequences because they don't vote. You can't take it for senior citizens because they will vote you out of office. But when you take it for young people, they don't vote. Yeah. So there was no consequences except for what we're living through right now.
And another thing too, to piggyback on what they were saying is, I feel that the system, I'm gonna call it spade a spade, the system messed up with us. Seeing that the system messed up with us, their generation was allowed to whoop us. And we got whooped. It didn't hurt us, but we learned the lesson. Our generation, we whooped our kids. The next generation that came up under them, it was, if you whoop your child, you're going to go, they can call CPS, and you're going to go to jail. And the kids start hearing, if you whoop your child, they start saying in front of kids, well, if you whoop your child, you're going to go to CPS, and you're going to go to jail. And the kids got it embedded in their head, if you whoop me, I'm going to call the police, and you're going to go to jail. And we let them slip. We kept letting them slip. Then as they get that, if they have kids, you better not whoop me, you're going to go to jail. Now these kids now is, you ain't taking my iPod, you ain't doing nothing, I'm going to whoop you. And they start whooping the parents. The system failed us. Because if the system would have not been the way they are to try to control something, we would have passed down the generation of how we was treated growing up. If you see adults talking in one room, you go in the other room. Now, kids are blending in, having adult conversations with adults, and don't even know what they're talking about, but they want to be heard. And you tell them to go sit down, and they tell you, F you, and all this other stuff. And we let them go. We let them go because the system let us go. And we got to call a spade from what a spade is. If they would have never told us, if we whoop our child, we're going to go to jail, and let the kids hear it, and they kids start doing it, and on and on and on. And also, we got to call it too, because our team also, when we had company, we gave our kids video games, Grand Theft Auto, and Call of Duty, where it's training their mind to sit in front of this TV for 8 hours instead of us spending time with them. We let the TV spend time babysitting them, and they're learning how to rob cars and have sex and do everything Grand Theft Auto has in this video. And now the video is real life. Them hurting and killing their parents, that's real life. But if the parents would have been the parents, if you would allow the parents to be the parents wouldn't try to see, if I be his friend, maybe he'll trust me more. Maybe he like me more. Maybe he do this more. No, if you whoop his butt, he'll love you more.
Agreed. I think that the concept of just being a parent as authoritative figure, I mean, that works. And like you said, the system has made that a taboo to just be so hard on our children. However, nobody has ever taught us, you're going to hear this from me a lot, nobody has ever taught us how to be parents. Mm-hmm. We never had parenting classes. We never had interpersonal communication classes as far as raising our children. And grandparents are so good at raising kids because they've already raised generations. You know, so a lot of mistakes was made. They learned like the rest of us. And it was difficult raising us. You know who we are being raised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we can just tap into what it took and what it would have taken to straighten us out then and work with that now, then it gives us a case study instead of just going off the hip, you know. Like I said, I've seen homes where, you know, the kids are just crazy because they can do anything, you know, because they'll call the police, and you can't put a teenager out. You know, they said it's against the law to abandon a child, you know, but, you know, the system hasn't identified or recognized or acknowledged the fact that they got roughneck children at home too that want to do what society wants to do, want to do what John Boy's doing up the street. Now, I'm a believer of I'm going to be my child's friend, but there are barriers to that relationship, okay? Because the friends that they have outside these doors, the church, the friends that they have when they go to school, those are not friends. The friends that invite them over and jump on them and kill them while they're, you know, having a sleepover, that's not their friends. You know, and the boyfriends that's selling drugs and knowing that they're robbing people or shooting craps or whatever they're into, that somebody's either going to rob them or come and kill them or shoot them and let their girlfriend use the car and the car gets shot up, or they're going to put their babies in a car that they know that somebody's coming to, come on, man. I'd rather be their friend than to let loose my children to the rest of these so-called friends out here so they can learn something later that, you know. So that's not one thing I wanted them to learn on their own, but there's a barrier.
Do you feel that the kids are being raised from when we grew up? I know you're a little older than me, but I remember you and your brother from growing up, and y'all been in the martial arts all your life. Do you feel that the kids and young women and men are being raised to be young women and men as they grow up? Are they getting the training to be a parent? Like you said, we ain't get taught to be parents, but are they getting the right education or the right, you know, grown from like the mothers and daddies to be parents on their own or be a man out here? Do they know?
Right. See, that's another thing that's missing. And I'm glad you said that. It's very important. See, we want to get our kids ready for adulthood. We need to train them how to be children first. See, because, you know, a lot of times we got the parents want to be kids, the kids want to be parents, you got the father want to be mom wants to be dad, you know, which is cool, but what does the family structure say in your household? We're going to be Baptists, we're going to drive cars, we're going to start work at 14, we're going to get up at 5 o'clock and we're going to get this yard together, we're going to feed the chickens, we're going to get up in the morning, we're going to prepare ourselves, we're going to brush our teeth, we're going to get ready for school, we're going to, you see, there has to be a level of structure because it's always been the mother that get the house together for dad to come home or the boyfriend to come home to be dad.
Right.
Okay, but the mother and the father had to get together when they were boyfriend and girlfriend to learn each other enough to see if I want to bring you home. But to tell the kids, look, get those shoes up, get this together, because, you know, when I was growing up, the women knew we didn't eat pork, and we didn't allow pork in the house. Now, my mother, father, and my sisters taught us that if we met a woman that had kids, then it was a package deal. We were taught that.
Mm-hmm.
But one day my mother said to me, you don't need a ready-made family. I said, well, Mama, what is that? She said, well, she's a nice girl, but she has 3 kids. And I know you're going to take care of those children. Or is she going to love you after you take care of those children? She made me think. She put that in my head. So I was able to have a conversation with her about where are we going.
Yeah.
You see, people have relationships and they haven't identified where this relationship is going to go with the people that they're with.
Right.
We're going to rob what? Oh, I'm not in this for profit. I like y'all because y'all cool, but we're drinking what? You see, there's nothing, you find that out when you're in the midst of having a party. Come on over, it's going to be a party. Everybody runs to the party. You get there, they got guns, they got drugs, they got everything. You're like, how do I get out of here?
Right.
And they're trapped.
The pure pressure of being a black man is hard too.
Well, it's that part. It's a lack of identity of self.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we haven't taught them to be themselves, to be in their own skins.
Yes, sir.
One of my karate students came and told me one day, and she said, Professor, I need to talk to you. I said, okay. She says, I just don't feel like myself. I said, you've only been in class 2 weeks. She said, no, I'm hearing voices. So I said, well, okay, what do they say? And she said, well, nothing, they just talk to me. I said, well, about what? And so one of the other black girls said, well, what would you ask? I said, man, just hold on. So I said, what do they talk to you about? She said, well, just, it's called what I'm doing. I said, baby girl, that's yourself talking to you. That's your thoughts. She's never heard herself talk. When we get by ourselves, we turn that TV on. We turn the radio off.
Right.
We never get a chance to find out who we are, what we're capable of. We don't know how resilient we are.
Right.
I don't know that I am he.
Right.
Everybody looks for a miracle to fall out of the sky because that's what they teach us. A miracle's coming forth. When you was the miracle that came. 1 billion sperm cells and you made it, Miss Renee. You made it, bro. I came with my brother, but we made it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying struggle is the essence of life. When we understand that we have to fight, fighting is the essence. But it's not a physical fight, it's a mental fight. It's a spiritual fight. It's a psychological fight. It's a fight to know and identify with myself. Your biggest fight is trying to deal with yourself. So you don't need a partner to do that. Mm-hmm. That's just something else you got to fight a little bit more about. Once we identify with self, once we teach our children how to be kids, how to be children, our problem is that our kids are trying to live adult lifehoods as a child. Adultness is hard on us as adults.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to go back so badly because we want to go back and fix it. And listen, I'm not trying to take a lot of time. I just want to explain myself so that we can go back and identify with ourselves when we leave here. When you get through with this podcast, whoever watching and the rest of us, don't turn the music on. Don't turn the radio on. Don't even listen to the national NPR station. Just sit back and listen to you. Don't get high. Don't drink nothing. Just sit back and find out who I am. And I am is the I am, right?
That's right.
Okay.
I got 3 things I'd like to leave the podcast with before I depart.
Okay.
In order to be successful with your youth, I've got 3 letters to give you.
Yes, sir.
TLC. The T stands for teach. As a parent, as a loving adult, teach them how to make good decisions. And the other T stands for time. There's no shortcut in dealing with young people. Put in the time to change their life. Showing up for 1 hour and disappearing is not going to do it. You got to put in the long time, and if you will teach them to make good decisions and give them your time, you can already see the results of that. The L, help them to learn how to make good decisions.
Right.
And also love them and let them know it's okay to give love back. I don't know where it came from that showing affection towards our youth is a wrong thing, but I told a young brother the other day that wanted to hurt me, I said, dude, you don't even know me. I said, but I love you enough to take a bullet for you.
Right.
And I told him that to his face.
Right.
Because we have to love our kids that hard to get through what they're going through right now.
Yes, sir.
And then the C stands for caring. Care enough about the youth to know their concerns.
Yes, right.
Sometimes you gotta be available to listen to their concerns. What may not be important to you, because you made it to adulthood, may be crucial for them. But you gotta make yourself available to care enough to listen to their concerns. If you'll take those initials, TLC, and make it into any type of formula that you want to make it into, I guarantee you'll change life.
From when you was when you was an officer years ago, and I remember you helping the community, helping, you know, the black community, whatnot. What is the difference between the West End, the community now, from when you was an officer? What do you feel is the difference?
The difference now is, right now, the community don't trust the police, and the police have no connection to the community. You know, back then, when I was police, they knew Sir Friendly City.
Yes, sir.
From the neighborhood. They knew I was a police officer, but they knew that the badge was untarnished. They knew me as a good cop.
Right.
I don't think a lot of folks know too many officers by name where they can call out and say, well, I know Officer such and such, because there's been a discord right now and a distrust. And both sides have got to find a bridge to come across to bridge this distrust. And I think having a youthful leader like Renee could be that bridge, you know, because she knows both the street and she knows the government side.
Right.
And she's bold enough to say to both sides how she feels.
Right.
And so we got to encourage this youthful leader here to keep going strong and support her and lift her up so she can reach her full potential.